All right, so when you have all of your research done, you're going to have to go and do an outline now. The very first step that you need to do in creating an outline is actually to create a thesis statement. So a thesis statement, here's a formal definition. It says a thesis statement sums up what the paper will tell the reader. It is not the topic. The topic is the subject of the paper. The thesis tells the reader something about the topic. The thesis should be at least one complete sentence. It must be logical, and the writer must make a claim that he or she can prove with the content of the paper. So if you just look at some of the things, rules for writing a thesis, it's kind of the same thing that I just talked about in the formal definition, but it's a complete sentence, not 2 or 3 sentences, just one. It cannot be a question. It should be able to be proved with facts that you're going to have in your research paper to follow. It needs to represent you and your ideas. So basically, it needs to have your opinion in it. Do not generalize. Do not use first or second person pronouns. And do not use cliches. So here are some sample thesis statements. So let's say if your battle was, or your topic was the Battle of the Gettysburg. Your thesis statement would be something like the Battle of the Gettysburg changed the momentum of the Civil War. So notice that you can see somebody's thoughts and opinions in there, but yet this statement will also be able to prove with facts and figures and information that the person researched about and will follow up in their paper. So you can see another one. Here's one about basketball. Winning basketball games requires a solid team of skilled athletes, not just one superstar. Again, you can see the opinion in there, but yet it'll be able to prove with facts. Here's some other thesis statements. You can see all of them are not very long. They're one sentence, though, that talks about the topic of your paper that you've been researching, but yet you'll still see the person, the author's thoughts and opinions in it. So once you have your thesis statement, your whole paper is going to try to be proving your thesis statement. So these are just some questions that you can ask yourself about your topic and your thesis statement to see and make sure that you have all the research that you need in your paper. So once you actually have your thesis statement written, you're going to do your formal outline. Now you have an example of an outline that a hard copy at your desk that you will be able to follow, but here's just another outline. All of the outlines for research paper will start off with the thesis statement that you just came up with. Okay, that'd be the very first thing. It's kind of like your introduction to your research paper. Then underneath, you're going to have, I would say, at least 3, maybe even 4 general topics. These are those topics that you're going to use to try to prove your research paper. I would have it, like I said, at least 3. So you can make sure that you have your research paper is at least 3 to 5 pages. So here's the first topic. Let's actually read the thesis. It says, with a fascinating history, impact on the local community, and charitable activities, Hershey Park dominates the amusement park world. So there's the thesis statement. It is somebody's opinion, but they are going to try to approve that statement that they've made with the facts and information that they have researched beforehand. So here's one section. The first section, they're going to talk about Milton Hershey. That is the person who created, obviously, the amusement park. So they're going to start off with his childhood. They're going to move on to him actually creating the chocolate factory, where it came from, the success, and the current success. So you can notice that this is all about the chocolate factory. And then they're going to talk about how he opened up the boys' home for orphans, and again, why he built that home for orphans, and when it actually became the Milton Hershey School. So once they've actually talked about Milton Hershey in the beginning part of their paper, they're going to move on to the actual park, the opening of the park. Then they're going to move on to the changes since it opened, most expensive, publicized, and the costs. Notice on the cost, they're going to talk about the public emission and the actual cost of operation. They're going to end with safety requirements, and the last thing, the impact on the local community. So you can see how their paper is organized. If I were writing this paper, this would be like my first 2 pages or so. Roman numeral number 1 would probably be about 2 pages, and each one of the subtopics, the A, B, and C, would probably be a paragraph each. So you'd have a paragraph on childhood, a paragraph on chocolate factory, and a paragraph on boys home for orphans. Then the second half of the paper would be the park, and again I would have a paragraph for the opening, a paragraph for the changes, and a paragraph for impact, and I would end it with a conclusion, and that would be your paper. So good luck with your outline today. Hopefully you have some organization to your research paper, and your outline is going to be awesome. Good luck.